Welcome to the new episode of All That Jazz. I'm your host Matthias, and I have with me Maja. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you
And,
for your.
and Maja is from Slovenia, and to prove I'm Slovenian, because I never speak Slovenian, Maja, kako si? Kako gre?
Super sem.
Super.
Ja, hvala za povabilo. Lepo je biti v tvoji družbi.
It's okay. All right. Let's go. So how do I know you? I don't really know. I know you from somewhere years ago on Facebook somewhere. I have forgotten.
I know.
You know? Okay. Enlighten me.
I don't know who actually was our connector. Oh, I think I know. It was I forgot his name. He's Canadian and he has a very interesting surname. And he came to Sedona. I met him there, and I think he connected me to you through
Oh,
our J.R. Hawkins teachings. Hawkins
David R. Hawkins, yes.
R. Hawkins, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, very influential in my life. Is he or Doc as we call him, because he was a psychiatrist and a medical doctor. So well, all psychiatrists actually have to be medical doctors because they give out medication. But anyway, yes. Yeah, Doc. Yeah, was the connection. Andrew Faka. Yeah, I remember now. Yes.
Yes, Andrew. That's the
And
guy.
this must have been 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to have pretty good memories of like years and stuff because I tend to move around, so I tend to know. Yeah, anyway. So you are into uh pets, particularly dogs, and healing, which is a really good combo. And you do also work with kids, yes?
Yes, I
Yes.
do. I used to do it more, and I was a private babysitter
Okay.
for 20 years, and I was working probably around 50 families altogether, or even more. But then I stopped for a little while, and now I'm getting back to it, but just more with workshops, energy healing, and teachings about that, about how to uplift yourself, increase your self-confidence, and trust in yourself and your capabilities. So this is my next thing that I'm gonna
Hmm.
throw up in
It,
the.
the dogs is a very interesting thing, dog having pets, because as a psychiatrist, I don't think many psychiatrists do this, but Doc would sometimes or often for people that were depressed, he would actually I don't know if you can nowadays, probably you can't legally do this maybe, or there's ethical problems, but he would want people to get a pet, otherwise he would refuse to treat them, because having a pet actually increases your happiness, and also has you're taking care of somebody other than yourself, and that's taken away from all the being so kind of self-centered, all about me, and then you're taking care of somebody else, right? So that's probably true, right? If you have a pet, it definitely helps a lot.
Yeah, it definitely helps because it changes your daily mood. When you see an animal, when you see those beautiful eyes and smiley face, it's just something about the animals that it's so, for me, it's so, I don't know, blissful, or I don't even have the word to describe it, but it's just, when you look at them, it makes you feel, at least it makes me feel very calm, very grounded, centered, and it uplifts me, it uplifts my mood. And sometimes when I really connect with them, I actually feel blissful. When you look at I don't know, beautiful morning sun, or when the sun goes down, or when you see beautiful flowers or beautiful animals. I think when you're just in your stillness in that moment, and you're just present with the animals, or with the beautiful skies, or whatever, the beautiful flower, and it just takes your breath away, then then you know why you have them, and
Hmm.
what are the benefits. Because we can go, talking about all the benefits that you increase, I mean, the things that increase in your body, the hormones of happiness and everything. It actually works on so many levels, and it's just pure love. And
Mm.
yeah, that's the way to describe it best.
You're more of a dog person than a cat person, right? Because you seem to work more with dogs.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm an animal person, but I am more a dog person than a cat person. I do have two cats, and I just my cats, one of them, she started playing again, which she didn't for a while. Now she plays again. It's so beautiful to see her. So I'm enjoying all of them, and also horses. But I think, yeah, dogs are definitely, I don't know, number one in my life.
Yeah. Is there a difference, would you say, between dog people and cat people, like the specific traits that you've noticed? Is it like a thing that a cat person would be like, and then a dog person, or not? It's just random.
Well, that's a good question. I never really thought about that. But I feel sometimes people that prefer dogs have a tendency to think that, oh, cats are so um, mean and selfish, or sometimes they attach those funny little how would I say, beliefs,
Yeah.
that which is totally false and untrue. They just don't understand the nature of cats. Um, I think, you know, I don't know, maybe maybe the dog people are more the pleasers, and cat people maybe are not. I don't know, but this is just something that I'm saying you know, out of the blue. It's just, I didn't really think about that as much, so that I would have something,
Right.
concrete to say.
Perhaps it's more of what you grew up with, because when I was growing up, we always had cats around, and then when we eventually got a dog, I was already in my 20s, and I was actually scared of dogs up until that point, and then I got over it about a year into it, and walking the dog and everything. So, I think that definitely plays a part, because if you grew up with cats always, like, you tend to gravitate more to what you're used to, perhaps. And then if you grow up with dogs, then you're more used to dogs. And then, it's just like, oh, I miss my dog. I had my dog in childhood. I had my, Bobby or whatever, and he was always there for me. So there's that too. Wow, my camera's going crazy. Anyway, yeah, so and another interesting thing that Doc said about dogs, apparently, I don't know if this is empirically true somewhere. I don't know if there was a study done, but he said that having a dog increases your lifespan by 10 years.
Yeah, I would say that, because a lot of animals that go to places where people are ill, or
Hmm.
I mean, in the elderly home. Are you still with me? Yes, you
Yes,
are.
I'm here. I just tried to turn it off and on. Doesn't matter. It's fine. You can hear my voice.
Yeah, that's most important, because well, doesn't really work as as you hope. So, so yeah, in an elderly home, or with, when the dogs work with kids or other animals, you can really feel and also see the progress they make. A lot of times when people are maybe chained to their bed, or are really sick. Um, I remember just one person saying that works with dogs, and she actually goes with her dogs to elderly homes and where people are sick and so. And she said, you know, a lot of times people don't actually remember owner's name, the owner of the dog, but they always remember the name of the dog. They're super
Mm.
about them coming in. And I remember, do you remember that video that was viral going on Facebook? And it was about a horse that came to the hospitals and just knew and had a feeling to which patient to go. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
It's so unique, and it has many stories like this. And you know,
Yeah.
the actually welcome to the hospital, and he actually heals with his presence. And you know, usually animals are here, at least from my experience, they are here to actually um I'm looking for the correct word, but they're here to make our lives easier in so many ways. And a lot of times they actually take on our fears, our insecurities, and also illnesses, so diseases. So a
Mm.
lot of it's so popular the dogs have cancer today.
Yeah.
And through my energy work, I see that a lot of dogs die much sooner that they were supposed to die, and they have taken on the disease of their owner, or somebody in the family, usually the closest one,
Mm-hmm.
and they themselves, and then they passed away. So then the owner was actually saved in this way. This is kind of very common that I'm, you know,
Right.
observing in my work. Yeah.
There was a story also years ago of this cat that was living in a hospice, and the cat always knew when the next person would pass away, and the cat would be there like a day or two before and just hang out with the person, and then the person would always pass away. So it's like it became like a big story because it kept happening in the hospital. So it was kind of like I don't know, the cat just knew, but also I think it became like almost like a kiss of death, because like if the cat came, you're like, oh, I'm gonna die next. Or you could suspect it. But yeah, it's interesting how the cats are they're really in tune with that. And also, according to Doc's work, the cats and dogs are, as far as level of consciousness, they're like, and comparing it with humans, they're in the, like, I would say in the top 10. Like, as far as humans, they're in the top 10. So you're better with a dog, or with a family dog or family cat, than 90% of mankind, 90% people on the planet, apparently. So that's quite unique, right?
Yes, it is. And regarding the cat and the death and those kind of things, I would like just to say that I think that, you know, animals teach us so many things. And the fact that the cat came to that person, I think that's such a beautiful thing, in a sense of I'm here for you, you're not alone, and I'll be here for you. Because a lot of times, the owners, when it's time to say goodbye to your dog, beloved cat, um, or whatever animal it is, they usually can't be present. You know, if it's natural, of course, if you don't know when it happens, but when they put their animal to sleep, a lot of people don't want to be present because it's too scary for them. It's too
Mm,
hurt. It's it's um it's a painful experience, but I can say for myself is also very beautiful. There's just something in that moment when it happens that it's blissful, because all the souls that are going, they're going somewhere, and they're going home. They're going to the other side,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of people that have near death experiences, they always tell us the same thing. There's pure white light, there's just love. Nothing's wrong there, everything is right, everything is how it's supposed to be. It's just that bliss. And also the animals, when they're passing through, they actually need us there, and for them support, because the hard part is leaving here the earth, not going there, if you know what I mean. uh, so I think it's in one way hard to leave the painful body, although the soul
Mm-hmm.
wants to, and she's going to the beautiful place there. um, but I so that is why I'm saying it's beautiful and painful at the same time. But of course, it all is different to our level of consciousness, how conscious we are through this process. So the people that find this most painful, they maybe in this moment in time cannot um, see this in much broader perspective.
Mm. Do you know the quote? I was just reminded of there's a Mark Twain quote about dogs and cats. Um, it says, let me find it. Okay. It says, "Heaven goes by favor. If it went by merit, you would stay out, and the dog would go in." Saying saying that God favors humans, I guess. But they I believe that all animals have a soul. There's definitely a life there, so they all go somewhere. And maybe I have a theory that maybe the souls are progressing. So by maybe at some point they progress to be human at some point,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
then they go from there. So I know the Hindus have a really big belief system on cows. So they don't eat beef, and they don't kill cows because that's their holy animal. So it's quite interesting. Um, I do like beef myself, but hey, I'm not a Hindu.
Yeah, the fact is, you like beef, not the cow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You like to eat beef, not the cow. Because if everyone should be the one that, you know, kills the animal to make that meat, now you like we will probably all be vegetarians for vegans, or maybe most of us. I think when we talk about meat, we extract the the soul part of the animal, then it's meat, then
Yeah.
it's meat. I mean, it's I don't think there's anything wrong with eating meat. you know I just feel that the the approach that we have as a collective towards the animals, it's heartbreaking. And animals are exploited to such an extent that you can say, you can feel that they're crying on the other side. You know this is the part that hits me the most. Um, if you buy a good meat on a farm, that's completely different than if you buy it from somewhere where it's very industrial.
Yeah. Yeah.
The consciousness we can all, or the perspective we can all take in, and um, try to be as much of a conscious consumer as we can. But at the same time, the problem is that a lot of countries or areas, they don't have farms
Yeah.
where you can go and buy them. Like Slovenia is fortunate. We are very fortunate here that we have small farms like this. But at the same time, the agenda goes, to cut all the small ones. And since I'm talking now, I don't know where I want to go, but it's just one thing that,
Are you vegetarian, by the way?
no, I was vegetarian, I was vegan. And then I noticed that I lack like a lot of protein, that I was not feeling well.
Yes.
And I do eat meat, like mainly just chicken, um, but on a very rare occasions. So I just try to listen to my body and, you know, feel what it needs. But it just, so actually when I'm living by myself, because currently I'm in my parents' place, I'm in my studio apartment, but we all eat together. So I usually eat um, what my mom cooks. That's like the luxury now that I'm
Right. Right.
but at the same time, when I was living alone, I never cooked meat. I just didn't, and I didn't eat it. So now definitely I eat it more often. But if I don't feel like eating it, I don't eat it.
Mm. But like this year, I tried. There was a woman that went on. They used to come to the meditation meeting, and that I go to, and she was, I knew her from for a few years, and she was always a vegetarian. And then she told me, oh, I was still experiencing some health issues and all that. And then she heard about a different type of diet, so she went all carnivore, meaning to 100% meat. And this girl, she's a singer. She's a classically trained opera singer, and she does that. And she was and she said she felt like more energetic. Some of her health issues went away. And so I tried it out. I tried it in March for about 2 weeks. I ate only meat and eggs. And man, I was feeling good. And the hardest part though for me is not any other stuff. It's just staying away from sugar. I think that's more of a like staying away from like any kind of sugary stuff or any kind of this stuff, not to advertise. I'm not advertising anything. But yeah, staying away from that, it was the hardest. And then but I felt good. So I definitely think but as far as the animals, I think we definitely could be a better approach, more of the Native Americans still they killed animals, but they thanked them for their life. They had like I think a prayer or something, very kind of respectful. So I think maybe the world is going towards that, but I don't think the world will ever go to a place where we never eat meat, because I think for most people that we need it. Like this whole cultures that they don't eat meat, and that's fine, but people shouldn't force meat. Like you talked about an agenda. I think there is an agenda somewhere that we're just gonna eat bugs and be as low as possible and be happy. And no, we don't want that. We don't
Yeah,
want to eat bugs.
like you said about Native Americans, that's the missing ingredient in the Western world,
Yeah.
to be grateful. And every time when I consume the meat, like I say like prayers and blessings, thank you, animal, to give your life so I can, eat and like nurture my body with proteins. Um, so I'm trying to be conscious about it. Um, but yeah, so I just feel that the importance of this is actually how you approach to animals, how you treat
Yeah.
them, the respect. So the respect is missing because the animals are looked as less than us, but they're so much more, intelligent, emotionally intelligent than we are. They like, we have intelligence that maybe, they don't have, although the pigs are more or higher developed uh,
Pigs.
developed beings than humans. Yes. So they say that pork is, like, as a meat, is not digestible as the other meat is, because
I just had
if
some today.
okay, so
Okay, go on.
uh,
Go on.
so if you look at old Chinese medicine, the pork is actually digested in the fourth phase of your digestion, because the body doesn't recognize it as how do you say, a foreign, like, as a meat. It actually recognizes it if like its own ingredient. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's flesh and blood of a human.
Really? That's
They-
interesting.
They're so similar. Um, yeah, so it's very interesting. And the pork, for instance,
So are you saying, sorry, are you saying a stupid question, but are you saying that eating pork is almost like tastes like eating human?
I don't know. I cannot say because
I cannot, we're not verify. We're not gonna verify that.
we don't need to. But anyway, there's supposed to be, like, the spiritual word is saying that the pigs are more, not just more intelligent, but they're higher spiritual beings than humans. So, and you
I don't know.
higher spiritual being than yourself. This is, you can take, what you want. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, the things that I heard and the things that came to me through the
Yeah.
spiritual world. Everyone does their own thing. Everyone, is living their life and eating the way they feel they want. And but the fact is that more that you work on yourself, I feel more you are sensitive to what you eat, regardless, meat, whatever. But the sugar is the most powerful drug there is.
Yeah. I think yeah, whether you're vegetarian or not, I think the sugar is the probably the big one. That's actually probably toxic and a killer. Although I do say a killer, but isn't there talking about spiritual and the mental level, isn't there, if you have a belief system in your mind that actually eating, let's say this is hypothetical, but if you actually had this belief that eating, gummy bears, like Haribo gummy bears, is good for me, let's say, and you're eating that, wouldn't that would affect you differently than if you had a belief system that eating this is bad for me, and then you were actually then guilty for eating it. So it's probably better if you don't have the guilt and you're enjoying it. And on top of that, if you have the feeling that this is good for me and a belief, an actual belief that this is good for me, then it probably wouldn't hurt you as much, right?
I agree 100%. That is true, because our mind is our greatest tool, and it helps us in so many ways. What I, like, sense in my body, like, my tasting buds, is it
Yeah.
but
Taste
yeah,
buds.
taste buds, they love a lot of different things. Stomach doesn't, it's just like there's the difference. But it's true what you're saying. It's about how you enjoy it. And if you attach guilt to what you're eating, especially people that are on diets and stuff, that's the the killer, the one thing that makes things worse.
Mm-hmm.
So free. And I remember the story, which is true, by the way, but I don't know where it came from, about a homeless guy. I think it was maybe from Louise L. Hay. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying that there was this homeless guy that, he was consuming food from a dumpster, so from the garbage, and of course, most of it was junk. So he was not okay. His health was not best. So then I think he came to one class or something, and he heard about the gratitude of, having a gratitude towards the food you eat and
Mm-hmm.
everything in life. Then your whole body, whole system changes. Everything is wired differently, and it actually affects your health in a positive way. So what he started doing is that he started saying thank you to the food he actually uh, picked up from the trash, from the dumpster. And he started saying how this food is benefiting him, how it makes him feel good, how his health is increasing, how he's getting stronger and feeling better. And that's what actually happened, because he rewired.
Rewired. There we go. Now we got two. You're back.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
It's
My phone is saying that it's getting too hot. So
oh, I see. Okay.
um
So you were saying rewired.
yes, he actually rewired his brain in a way that it really served his health. So he felt much better. He looked much better, felt much better, and actually changed his life.
Wow.
So
Just an intense practice of gratitude can change an adjustment of attitude can change somebody's life.
for sure.
That's that's awesome. That reminds me, there used to be there's a thing called Attitudinal Healing Center, and they do classes on. I wonder if because where I work it's in a hostel, and I wonder if having a short this is just an idea I'm floating in my head. I wonder if a short course on attitude and how and that all that would help people, the volunteers, because sometimes you get different kinds of people and they're not all the same kind of quality, as you said. You get characters in there sometimes, and if I had that, but what, there's also a thing of you can teach somebody something, but if they're not really interested, then they're not gonna if they're not really interested in changing themselves, they're not gonna change. Right? You can't just force somebody. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make a horse drink, right? That's the saying that you can't really force change. But yeah, I'm just thinking out loud about facilitating change in a workplace where a lot of places, not just here, but a lot of places could do more to actually help their employees, because it wouldn't just help them in their job. If you had like even a gratitude thing, it would help them, in life as well. Like you said with a homeless guy.
Yeah, I agree. And also reminding them why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they there? you know, at their that job and everything. Because I used to work with football players. I was there to actually help them move forward, and they won a championship and everything through like towards me being there and helping them connect. And I actually I looked at their numerology chart also for some people, but most of the thing that I did, I actually picked out the player that I felt had the the heart, that is the heart of
The
their
team.
team. Yeah. And um and when so this was very, very beneficial, and it really worked, although this player was very, you know, for the scouts, he wasn't really the one who they'd be looking for, because he didn't have many skills, but he was hitting goals because he had a heart, you know, at the right place. And when the team started losing focus and it didn't go well, what I did was I actually sent out a questionnaire with some simple questions. And the main one was, you know, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you there? You know, to get clear. Because sometimes it's hard to be grateful if you feel like, if you don't have the clarity of why you're there, what's going on, and sometimes something is annoying you and you don't even know why.
Yeah.
I think first you need to be really clear.
Uh-oh. We're gonna lose her again. Right. Really clear. Well, here we go. She's back.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. I probably can cut it out, so no problem.
Okay.
Technical stuff happens.
Yes.
But you
So
said the last part you were saying that you have to be really clear or something.
I remember. So you have to be really clear and really honest about yourself and what your situation is, where you are, where you want to be, and where you want to be when you're not, where you're not. You know what I mean? It's just first you need to deal with the stuff that don't really work, then to feel the gratitude for the things that work for you.
Right.
Because when we're in the deepest hole, we cannot be grateful because we're just focused on our misery, on ourselves, whatever is not working. And it's hard to find gratitude in those moments. So first you need to say, fuck it, it is what it is, or in Slovene, jebiga.
Slovenia. Yeah.
And yeah, right. Jebiga, right? It's just, it is what it is. So you know, things are not working out for me. I feel bad. I feel miserable. So first we need to really um, say things out loud in a sense, or just admit to ourselves how we are feeling. Because a lot of times we're so attached to our problems, we're down here feeling those feelings, and we think we are those feelings, and it's never going to be okay. It's never going to be all right. And we cannot really address how we're feeling when
Hmm.
we're in, right? We just feel everything bad, stuck, anger, resentment, fear, sadness, all in once, maybe sometimes. And then first we need to acknowledge how we are feeling and then accept, okay, we're feeling this way. This is not going anywhere. So when we accept those tension, I mean, that tension suddenly releases when we ask ourselves, how do we feel about it? How do we feel? We move ourselves up to a higher perspective. So, like, here's our ego state of mind, or like our lower self and the higher self here. And we ask ourselves, how do I feel? We immediately lift ourselves up and looking ourselves from up down. Okay, I'm feeling this way. I feel anger. I feel resentment. And as soon as we can place the words on our feelings, we are on a different level. And then we can start changing. And then we can start looking, okay, this is not working. What is working? What am I grateful for? You know, on this perspective, we can be grateful, but we can never be grateful on this perspective, like down, down, low.
Mm.
Or if something beautiful happens, because the universe always supports us, God always supports us in miraculous ways. But if we're willing to open our eyes and our hearts to that moment, and the animals are perfect in that
Right.
moment, just those eyes, you know, or a beautiful song that comes to our mind, or we hear it somewhere, and then we have some kind of feeling in our heart that warms our heart, you know, maybe takes us back in the past where things were right, when things were better. And then we feel better for a moment. And then maybe we start feeling bad because, oh, that was in the past was so beautiful, but now it's like so
Mm.
bad. So,
But sometimes I feel like I've had moments when I was really down and there was a change of attitude that helped me get out of it, but it's very difficult to get out when you're feeling really down. There was only a few moments in my life where I felt really, yeah, when you're just depressed. And sometimes I think I never took a medication for it, but I think there's certain times I could have used it because it was just I was feeling really down and out at times. And yeah, so I think for those people, just maybe observing, sometimes just observing thoughts, depending how severe it is. I don't know how severe you've ever experienced it, but I know what I've experienced is not the bottom of depression. It's probably worse, and I don't wish that on anybody. It's like it really is really bad. And I think sometimes only by God's grace you can, and other people helping you, and having, you know, like you said, animals, having a cat or a dog uh around you is extremely helpful, because it's all on all levels. If you start eating right on a physical level and start moving more, sometimes that's it. Or if you adjust your attitude on a mental level, and then there's spiritual. If you pray, if you do this, I have a friend that he does Hail Mary, which is a very Catholic thing, but it helps him whenever he's down and out. He does Hail Mary a lot of times until it works. Wait, whatever works. Very pragmatic, you know.
So he prays to Mother Mary. That
Hail
you mean?
Mary, full of grace. Yeah.
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 I mean, everything that helps you in that moment in time is great. You know, everything, every little thing counts. The thing that I usually recommend people that come to me and feel depressed is one of the things is that to go out in the nature, especially woods or
Yeah.
by the and try to look up and above your head into the skies, into the beautiful tree branches. Because when you're looking up, you have a different perspective. Because when we're depressed, and usually we're depressed because we're in our minds, we think a lot, and we are depressed because, or like we fear the future, what's gonna come next, or we feel guilty or resentment about our past. So we are
Mm.
never in the moment. Because when we are in the moment, and if we're in the moment, and I ask you, do you have a problem? Is there anything wrong? You never have the problem, right? Because when you're in that moment, you're just being in that moment. It's okay. Usually the problem exists in our minds,
Yeah.
or and when we are stuck there, we usually tend to kneel our head down like this and look in our phones or look down when we're walking, you know, and we're just in our thoughts all day long. And people tend um, to walk around with the headphones on, to listen
Yeah.
to something, to have that mental chatter, because um, they cannot calm down their own mental chatter, so
To
they tend
distract
to
themselves. Yeah.
distract themselves. But it's all about, you know, how do you say, confronting yourself with what is, not escaping. Okay, I have mental chatter. Okay, I'm being with my mental chatter.
Yeah.
It, that's the first step to come mentally relaxed. But first, you need to address the chatter and not feeling guilty because you have the chatter, right? That's
Mm.
the same about consuming whatever junk food you want to consume. It's the same thing. You just want
Yeah.
to say, okay, fuck it. It is what it is. I'm having mental chatter and I'm okay with that. Okay. And how can I stop this mental chatter or maybe tone it down a little bit? Okay. I can breathe. I can feel my body breathing in and,
Mm.
stretching and breathing out. The breath it works miracles. And looking up, looking to the sky, into the sky, the clouds, just like leveling your chin up makes a total difference. So this is the things that usually when we are super depressed, maybe we don't remember, but sometimes it's good somebody to remind you, or is it your friend, your therapist, or you can maybe if you hear it somewhere, like now that we're talking, you can then use it when the time is right or when the
Hmm.
times are, and it can
Yeah.
benefit.
Speaking about in a moment, there's for those of you only listening, there's it's out of view over here. For those watching, I think there's dogs sleeping nearby. If you can you show the dog sleeping? Is it possible?
Okay. Oh
There,
my God, the phone is so hot.
there you go. Maybe you'll cool it down.
Okay, so this is my eldest. She's Lily.
Oh, there you
She's
go.
9 years old.
9.
Yeah, she's American Stepper. She's a cutie. I'm happy that you can see her because she's so black. She's usually like non-existent in pictures
The
because
lighting
she's
is perfect for that.
okay. So this is Era.
Uh-huh.
She's um she's a pit bull Steffi, American Stafford and pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
And this is okay. Kisses, yeah. This is her son. She actually jumped over the fence, meter and 70 centimeters high.
Wow.
Went with golden retriever, a white golden retriever, and I had 10 puppies. So it wasn't planned at all. Easy. Okay. Okay.
She jumped over the fence. I mean, he jumped over the fence because he wanted.
She, she
She.
jumped and went with this golden retriever and had some fun. And then we had
Oh, I see.
so
There
this
you
is
go.
yeah. Yeah. He's a giant. And
Yeah, I can see. Huge dog.
yeah. Era is 6 years old and he is 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have upstairs, my mom has a dog also, and she's the eldest. Um, she's 10 years old, and she's a mix, something. I don't know. She came from a shelter, a dog shelter. So yeah, they all. I mean, those two, the ladies are rescued too, and they both have. One of them has a real traumatic experience, but it's in the past. Let's leave it there.
Yes. So, because you do therapy with is it primarily with dogs that you when you do animal therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I do animal therapy if it's primarily with dogs? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course I'm focused on dogs, but I'm also especially focused on their owners and how they treat their dogs and if the dog's needs are met. Because a lot of the times it happens that, like I said before, dogs actually are fearful because of their owners, because their owners have they're maybe emotional, not really stable, or have some kind of emotional things going on, or every life brings a lot of
Right.
things. So it's that, and usually the dog has a bad experience. For instance, the dog was bitten by another dog before he was okay, then he was traumatized. Where we actually make things worse is when we see them as poor baby,
Oh
right?
yeah. Like a
And
victim.
like a victim, and then they actually become the poor baby victim, and that's where that's where everything gets worse. So it's easier for me to help the owners, or at least um, I had mm, I had challenging times with my dog because she was traumatized and she came to me, and I actually had this feeling, oh, poor girl. And it was hard to detach from that. So it's easier if somebody else helps you out when the things are really, really,
Right.
really bad. But we managed, but it took longer because sometimes people that brought me traumatized dogs, they were with me for 3 4 days and they were cured, they were healed. But I work with the owners because I need to teach them how to work with their dogs in a new way, because there are subtle things that really make a difference if you don't address them, or if you address them in a wrong way, you make worse, or the change of the transformation of the dog then isn't lasting. So I need to teach the owners too.
Right.
And a lot of times owners also need help, so they come to my healing. I don't just work with the dog, so
You heal the owners. Basically try to heal the owners.
yeah, too. So they come to my healing therapy session. Um, Not all of them, but some of them. Some that decide to code, that really see that they need it. That's the importance. That's the important part, that they acknowledge that, that they have the awareness that it would benefit them too. Not all of them have that awareness. A lot of people, a lot of owners really want to blame it on the dog, if you know what I mean, or just it depends. But so when I work with dogs, I usually address their behavior and also do healing work, the energy healing work. And with some, there's just like one healing session is enough, and they're normal dogs. So it depends. But some that have more traumatic experiences for a
Right.
long time, you need to work with them longer.
Would you say that an animal is like a blank slate and then all their issues and stuff is primarily the owner, and the experiences of the dog is primarily because like we come into this world and we have obviously karmic issues and spiritual issues and stuff. That's how we come in. But usually when animals come in, it just or my impression is, I could be wrong, but my impression is they come as a blank slate, and then it depends on the environment that they're in. And you can always balance a dog by helping the owner, like you said, because the dog is the reflection of the owner.
Yes, it
Either
is.
their spiritual state, the attitudes, and how they treat the dog, right?
Yes, it's the same with kids. So the kids are the mirror of the parents,
Right?
and the, also the animals are the. Are you still with me? Yes, you
Yes.
are. Sometimes you're disappearing, but I'm disappearing for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Um, so so are the animals the direct expression of the owners, but not just that. Through my experience and through what I've seen in my work, I strongly believe, or I would actually say I know, all animals also have karmic lessons to learn, or karmic, like there's just the thing that why this dog comes to this family, this specific dog, and they sometimes have, they're born sometimes with some disabilities, or they have some kind of, even some kind of bad experiences also in a litter, when they're little.
Yeah.
um I feel everything is in a way meant to be for us to learn and grow, for us humans. And also, through my experience, I think that animals are also having some kind of lessons, or maybe it's more connected to their humans, their owners. I feel we're not separated from that, if you know what I
Mm,
mean.
right.
Not like, oh, this dog or the dogs have their separate karmic lessons because they have to live through that lesson, but their lesson is also always combined or intertwined with the lesson of humans. I just feel this way.
Hmm.
I Because I never thought about that actually, but now that we're talking about it, and from seeing the bigger picture, or the through my work, what I'm doing, I would say it's like that.
Mm.
Knows, right? This is how I see it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting. I think you're right. And there's a lot to unpack as far as your healing stuff. But I want to go back first. I want to because you said something interesting about the numerology and the players. Because I feel one of my pet projects. I usually don't talk about the ideas I have, but I feel it's safe to say share here. It's if I ever owned a small football team, that's one of my dreams. Owning perhaps a small football. I'm still here. Owning a small football team that would have that I could do some experiments with. So one of the things that you did, I feel is highly fascinating because numerology definitely has an effect, or astrology on the players, but also what if you did, healing sessions on the players? What if they went to the attitudinal healing center and tried to adjust their attitude? You sent them to a hypnotist. You send them to listening to tape so they are becoming a better player. Send them to this, do experiments on the team, and then see um how it affects their performance. That would be fascinating without changing the players, having the same roster, and then seeing how they would progress. And obviously there would be changes because injuries happen and all that in sports, obviously. But that would be interesting to see how that happens, and then the journey with players and their feedback and seeing how because it's not all about performance, but that's part of it, obviously, because it's a sport. So it's a kind of, it is a professional thing. So yeah, what do you think of that? Because you said that you definitely helped the team by doing this work, right?
Yes. I like your dream and I support you. I support your dream. Yeah, I feel we're kind of sharing a dream, and I will tell you why. Yeah, it really helped them. It helped them in a way. They came from the third league to the second league, and then we didn't work together afterwards. But they came to the first league, and they won a national championship. Like when we were together, and then later, I think again.
Which
Uh,
team was it? Okay,
sorry.
can you share? Which team was it?
Yeah, Sežana Tabor, Cherry
Okay.
Box Sežana. But it was but it doesn't matter. Like we took part eventually, and what I was doing with them, I was doing with them yoga, stretching exercises, because a lot of football players didn't really stretch, and then the injuries were, increasing. So I actually focused on the areas that needed stretching the most, so their joints will stay healthy, and their calves and everything. And then I had yoga with them. Yes, this was yoga, and also the motivational side of kind of a pep talk, but
Yep.
from energetic point of view. So I was doing that because I'm good. I'm very good with that, and I really uplifted them. But the thing is, you need to have. So the person that invited me was really prone to that. He really wanted.
Oh, we're losing her again. She's gonna come back. Oh, there we go. There we go. You're back. You're back. There's two of you now, but I can't.
No,
Um,
I'm not there anymore.
right.
Do you see me?
No, I do not see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I know why. Because okay. Now you're gonna see me. Do you see me now?
No, not yet. Not yet. Uh,
Mirror my view. I don't know why I'm not here. Because before I had this thing on.
Maybe because of maybe the temperature of the phone, it
No, I
doesn't.
actually went on my computer, but before I didn't want to use my computer because it has trouble with the sound sometimes.
Do you have a camera on this computer?
Yes, I do. I don't know. I had a tape over it, but I put it away, so I don't know why it's share.
Okay, now. Oh, okay. No.
Because
Um, if you want, we can finish up on the phone because the phone seems to have
yeah,
working camera at least.
yeah, needs to cool down. What was I saying? Before you knew it was
Oh, you did yoga with the players and something after that. I forget.
yeah, I know. I remember. I'll remember. Just give me a second. I'll try something. Bom izkoristila še trenutek za WC, takoj bom nazaj.
Okay. Checking my money.
Mi daš še 3 minute, v zmrzovalnik sem ga dala.
Okay. Okay.
Ej, sorry, ampak moj telefon ne zdrži, veš, ko se mi pregriva. Ti si na
Ja.
računalniku?
Ja, laptop. Yep.
Jaz pa na laptop nisem hotela, zato ker imam doskrat, ko sem bila na kakšnem Zoomu, me pol čez nekaj časa niso slišali, ker mi je očitno zvočnik nagajal.
A ja?
Ta video pa ne vem, zakaj ne dela, imela sem prekrito kamero.
Mislim, da ni mogoče inštaliran ali pa ne prepozna kamere, po mojem. Zato, ko tudi znak ni, to je, da kamera ni ne prepozna. Če greš tule, ko piše stop video, mogoče na tudi kaj ob strani na desnem,
Tam
lahko
ni
si
nič,
izbereš, a ni nič.
video
Select camera?
settings imam. Video settings?
Ne, če greš gor, piše select camera.
Ne piše.
A ja, okay.
Se zato ne. Hide self view, rename pin, choose video filter, choose
Okay.
virtual background, blur my background, stop video, mute audio.
Lahko greš nazaj na tvoj telefon, pa bomo naredila mogoče na 10 minut, pa bomo pa mogoče naslednjič naprej. Ja, okay.
Evo, greva, evo, ti ga prenesem. Zdaj se je že malo upadel. Mogoče bo zdaj malo dlje zdržal, ker se je tako hladno.
Ja.
Zdaj je hladno, super. Evo, se izklopim tule, priklopim tam. Čau, sorry za tole.
Right, we're back. Okay.
So what I was saying is that when I worked with the football players, I did yoga and I also did motivational kind of
work, like motivational speeches and stuff, get it motivated.
Speeches that actually involved energetic exercises, more kind of spiritual advanced things, which a lot of them didn't really, didn't know how to deal with that. Not a lot of them, but the whole team wasn't so,
Enthusiastic about it. Yeah.
because they didn't have the knowledge or the consciousness for that, because it's very advanced.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know how many, 'cause they didn't actually show me, just maybe a few of them that I knew that they weren't so into it. The
Mm-hmm.
main problem was that the coach wasn't really,
On board. Okay.
yeah, he wasn't really into it. One was the friend that actually called me to do that, because he had personal experience with me. So the coach really wasn't, but they saw results later. They saw the results. But it's really, it works magical if you have the support from everyone. So addition to the energetic, I mean the spirit, not so much spiritual, but energetic work, or maybe if I stop with the energetic work, I did some exercises that really showed them what the mental side of ourselves, or our pursuit for the you know for getting better in this game, through your mental and energetical point, how this really affects your like not just mental sharpness, but your execution on
Yeah.
the field. It actually makes a lot of difference. So my friend actually sent me, so couple of guys, or it was the one, actually I remember a couple of guys that had some kind of trouble in their life. The things weren't really working out for them in some kind of ways,
Mm-hmm.
and wanted me to help them on an individual level, so they can show
Couple
their
of you mean a couple of the players, they wanted help?
uh sorry, you asked if the players wanted help.
Yeah. Did the players reach out or?
Actually, the friend of mine, he was actually a director and also the lead team player.
Okay.
um he was the one that was redirecting them to me,
Okay.
because they were coming to him explaining the problems, or he saw that they weren't okay, and then he sent them to me, and we
Okay.
worked, you know and so
So you had like individual sessions with a few of the players.
yes, so the ones that needed had my individual help. And the dream, where we share our dream, is I experienced so many therapists and chiropractors, osteopaths, and everyone you can imagine. And what I'm missing is all of them working together. Like the dream that you have with the team, if you would send those players to every person,
Specialist and and also healers. There's different energy healers. There's so many. So if you had a team just working for them, you mean, and you work together towards the same goal, you could achieve a lot, right?
exactly. They have team, but the teams that they currently have, I mean, a lot of also some teams have those motivational speakers or people that work on the energy level. It's kind of popular, it's becoming, but it's not so common or well known. But I feel that also those specialists, when you work with them, somebody needs you know more people, more specialists, and somebody
Right.
doesn't. If you really help them on a much like broader level and holistically, then yes, you can make such a difference. It's going to be the same person that's not going to be the same again, because it was actually supported through all those specialists and all those people and became more, right?
Right.
It's also the personal growth that
Mm.
goes with it. You cannot, detach from that. It goes hand in hand. So I really,
It's very complex because you're dealing with there's an issue of talent, but then is it talent innate or does it actually improving yourself mentally and spiritually and getting rid of fear? That would, in theory, I think, my hypothesis, I have to talk about my hypothesis is that that would open up more creativity because creativity is very important in football and being in the moment is very important in a game of football or soccer, as some call it. So that's very important because it's a very complex game. There's a lot of players on the field. So if you're more focused and give more effort for the team, and that's also a part of it, a big part of it, because if you do more effort, if you're and if the team is more cohesive, if there's more team spirit, then you're gonna play better. But that also depends on the coach. If there's a coach that everybody can get on board, and sometimes coaches also it's so many factors, and then the physical level is the nutrition, the training facilities, tactics. But once let's say we leave all that and we have the same coach, but then the rest we put all this the healers and all that would be pretty incredible to see how much that contributes to the players playing better.
yeah, everything is important, every aspect, of course. You cannot like diminish the importance of food you eat, consume. And if you're like running on the field, it's very important to have the right food that supports what you're doing, right? And
Not a
mm,
lot of sugar, hopefully.
yeah, not a lot of sugar, of course.
Yeah.
I feel that when you were saying, talent versus, working on every level, I see like a lot of people have so much talent, but they don't use it, or they use it a little bit because everything comes easy to them. Like I myself am sometimes like that because I have like so many artistic talents, or I just know sometimes things go so easy, then that I feel that sometimes I'm not willing to put so much hard work in the things that come easy to me, right?
Yeah.
But the people that put hard work in, that they don't have a talent,
Mm.
um you know they're kind of on a same level. But when you have talent and you work hard for it,
Yeah.
like, then you're exploding, right?
There's
um
a saying in English that uh talent beats talent hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But there's one more important thing that I feel is good to mention, and that is self-confidence. Because if you have a talent that is so unique and you don't have the confidence to execute the talent, then you know then you miss life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the saddest part in our collective um our collective um collectiveness. That would be the word, in our collectiveness. So many people, like including myself, I a lot of times felt and still feel sometimes that, you know on some areas of my life, I would just like, you really need to work hard to get to the confidence, to get to the level that you're so confident. But sometimes the way there, it's challenging, right? It's not
Yeah.
so easy, right? And then you want to give up, it doesn't work, things are not opening up for me. So it's really, really challenging a lot of times. But you can see, like, if you have a person that really doesn't share your talent, like it doesn't have your talent, but they're living, like they're doing so good because they're confident. And somebody that's confident can sell you a lot of, like, a bag of shit, You know what I mean? And they
Right.
was, because they're so confident, and people really, they trust the confidence you have. But if you're not confident enough, then, you know, the talent is a lot of time wasted, because you
Yeah.
don't go out there because you're too scared, you're not confident enough. But you build confidence with just showing up, right? If you're
Mm.
not showing up, then you cannot build confidence. And then you like looking those people that don't have your talents, they're not as nearly as good as you in something, that thing you kind of observe, but they're killing it. They're like,
Yeah. They apply themselves more. I think I butchered the quote before. It's hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. That's
yeah,
the quote. And yeah, there's been studies and books written on people that have the, I forget what the word is, but like they just grind it out, and they just keep working on it, versus people that just coast and coast. And in long term, people that just work hard, they just they just do better, that they have the grit. I think that's what it's called. There's a Asian woman that did a book on grit, and people that that have the grit, just kind of stick to it, and just work at it, then they do better. But I think in a spiritual level, if you do like particularly dogs work, if you let go of some of the fears and stuff, that will unlock a lot of things anyway, without so-called hard work, because you're just, if you unlock certain fears and stuff like that, you're automatically gonna be more confident. You're automatically gonna get rid of some of that blocks in creativity and all that stuff um that's holding you back from being showing up more in the world. So I feel like I've had the issue most of my life, but I'm only now starting to really maybe get out of it. So and I think part of it is actually doing the podcast for me, and and the job that I'm doing actually. So yeah.
yeah, I think you actually touched the most important thing, that what you said, that I didn't address it. And that is, yes, addressing the fears, addressing the setbacks, like beliefs that don't really serve you, or they
Mm.
don't no longer serve you. And that's the most important work that I do with my clients. I help people through emotional trauma, and they come to me because they are stuck, right? They're depressed, or they have some kind of setbacks in life. And yes, the key thing is to address those painful, maybe they're painful points in your body, or they're actually painful memories from the past, or just being right now present and stuck somewhere emotionally, or in relationships. And yes, the most important thing is to address those fears, address those issues, and then everything opens up, and you become kind of your new self. You're a clean slate,